All right, friends, welcome back to the channel. It's Chad at Gamer for Fun, and today you're going to be following along as I play the 1985 Commodore 64 Project Space Station. This game was released by HESWARE, developed by Lawrence Holland in 1985 for the Commodore 64 computer system. This game I have poured hundreds of hours into in my youth. And when I say hundreds of hours, I mean hundreds and hundreds of hours into this game. This game absolutely occupied my time. It was amazing. It still is amazing. When I say it was amazing, this game is amazing. There is so much going on. I don't even know where to explain to start. One, I'm going to be playing this game on and off. It's not going to be like an ongoing one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. It's going to be like I'm going to pick this game up, I'm going to play it for a little bit, and then I'm going to, maybe not get back to it for a little while. I don't think there is an end game to this. You just go and go and go. Okay? If you've never played it before, I'm going to do my best to explain what's going on. Right off the bat, though, you'll see that I have a DOS version, which is up here. You're looking at the DOS box version, emulated on my computer. You're also looking at the Commodore 64 version right here, emulated on my computer as well. And the reason for that is I would absolutely play the Commodore 64 version 100%. However, there's a bug in it that doesn't allow a person to read messages. You see down at the bottom where it says status board? I cannot get the status board to read the messages in the Commodore 64 version, and it is frustrating because you need to be able to read those messages. If you can't, um, you actually can't even you can play the game, but it's not even enjoyable. Okay. However, um, I've got the DOS version, so there's some things I'm gonna explain in the where is it here? There's some things I'm gonna explain in the Commodore 64 version, and then I'm going to go over and actually play the game in the DOS version. Okay. And the reason why is the message board works in the DOS version. Okay. Um, Let me just show you. Let's just compare the graphics. Okay, this is the same. Let me get over here. Go to the landing screen. Here we go. Okay, that's the Commodore 64 version. Okay. This is the DOS version. All right. Two things I want to bring your attention to. One, notice the date in the bottom right-hand corner. And two, notice the shuttle names. I've got Columbia on the ground, and I've got Atlantis on the ground. Space shuttles. Okay. Now, let me swing over to the old Commodore 64 version and take a look at the date. 1985, and I've got Challenger on the ground and Atlantis on the ground. All right. The game was released in 1985 for the Commodore 64. So they used the Space Shuttle Challenger, they used the Space Shuttle Atlantis. In 1987, when the game was released for the DOS, for the IBM PC version, that was in 1987. So they could not use the Challenger. They had to use the Columbia and the Atlantis. All right, so that's one of the differences. It's purely cosmetic. That's the only difference there. The second thing, let me just get back to the old Commodore version here. Well, let me get back here. And this first episode, I'm basically just going to show a lot of the differences here. Look at the graphics of the Commodore 64 version here. Okay, look at how rich the mountains look. Look at how rich the just the background. It just looks so good. Even at the top there, the plan, the launch, the land, the station, all the different screens you got to go to. Look at how awesome they look. Let me flip over to the DOS version. And it's like, well, okay, it's functional. I mean, the colors are just not there, right? We're talking EGA, CGA, like four color thing. View the land site. I mean, yeah, it's functional, but man, to go from the Commodore 64 version to the IBM version is just like, oh, this bites. But it's going to be what it's going to be. Honestly, if it wasn't for that simple issue of not being able to read those messages on the Commodore 64, I would play this thing on the Commodore 64 all day long. I mean, I've been through the emulator. I cannot get the M key, which is to read the messages, you press the M key on the keyboard. I cannot get that to work. I've remapped it. I've loaded different key maps. I've tried different keyboards, emulated keyboards. I've tried pretty much everything. Maybe I gotta try Dvorkian keyboard. I don't know. Anyways, it's enough that I'm gonna show you some stuff on the Commodore 64 version, and then we gotta continue on the DOS version. Okay, and it breaks my heart, but that's how we got to do it. I mean, just look at the launch screen of the Commodore 64 version. Okay, look at how awesome those colors are. Now, take a look at the launch screen. Whoop! Take a look at the launch screen. If I get to the right screen here of the DOS version. I mean, there's no comparison here. IBM, Commodore 64. I mean, just like look at the sweep of the angle of the space shuttle, okay? And it's just like boom, I'm looking at a Delta Wing fighter. And I'm like, okay, now I'm looking at an actual space shuttle. Like look at the wing shape of that thing. And it's like boom, I'm looking at a Delta Wing. It's like, okay, well, ah, these are the issues that I have. These are the things that keep me up at night. Now, so you're like, okay, so you've told us about the awesomeness of Project Space Station. You've told us how awesome the Commodore 64 version is. And now you've told us why you can't play it. And that is true. That is what we're doing. Also, um, there is a cheat or a bug in the Commodore 64 version that allows for endless budget money. Now, because we're not going to play the Commodore 64, even if I was going to play the Commodore 64 version, I would not be doing that cheat or bug to get the endless money. I think we all know how it's done. If you don't, then that's okay. I mean, if you're playing Project Space, if you're watching this Project Space Station video, hopefully you've played the game. If you haven't, this game is not as retro cool cyberpunkish as Neuromancer. This game is a raw simulation of what it's like to actually operate a to actually operate NASA, which for the US, North America viewers, probably around the world, everybody knows what NASA stands for. If you don't, National Aeronautics and Space Administration, I believe it stood for, at least in 1985 it did. Um, you're basically planning the budget and the operations and launching space shuttles. Here we go. You're launching space shuttles, you're landing space shuttles, you're doing station activity once you have a station built. You're doing EVA activity, extra molecular activity. Basically, you're outside the space station or space shuttles cruising around in space. You're doing that. You are then research and development on projects, and there is a lot of projects. I believe there's 40 different projects you can do. These are all in an effort to have a sustainable space program, which is the key to this. You need to be bringing in money. Now, to bring in money, you launch satellites when requested, and you pick projects and you perform. Once you have a space station built, you pick projects and you perform the research and development on these projects in order to gain funds. Okay. And this just tells you a little bit of project description. It tells you the staff you need, it tells you the equipment you need, and it doesn't tell you you're going to be successful, because some of these projects are not successful. Okay. In this particular case, it says you more lucrative government contracts for crop study possible. Doesn't say it's going to happen. So you might put everything you need to run this project into place in space, and it's not successful. And that's honestly, that's life, man. That's the way it goes, right? You've got a budget of $10 billion. You need to allocate it. You need to then buy and hire crew. Sorry, you hire crew, and you can look at crew members as well. Like for instance, if I look at my man Riviera. If I look at the materials engineer, it's going to give me a little background on him. Crew profile, tells me when he's born, specialty, all the degrees he has. These are all details. Interviewer comments. You read through these details and you see if he's a good fit for the project you're doing. Okay? Some guys are not good fit. Some crew members do not work well with others. Some crew members have issues, social issues. Some crew members just are perfectionists, some don't work well with others. Some have expertise in some areas and an interest in other areas that can help out projects. This game is deep. Like if I was on a deserted island and I had one game and power and a working Commodore 64 that would never end up burning out, this would be the game that I would take with me. Project Space Station. And when I say that, I mean it. Like this game is awesome. This isn't a game that you finish. I don't believe there's an end to this. Um it's just that good. There's so many different variations of what you can do. Like I want to look at what an orbital satellite does. Let's just take a quick look. Gives you details on it. Tells you that if you need to launch it to a higher geosynchronous orbit, you need a payload assistant manager, things like that. Okay. So there's so much. The game is so in depth. Here's the part. From time to time, you may be called upon to rescue a faulty satellite that's tumbling out of orbit. Throughout your mission, there will be numerous requests to deploy satellites. Respond to these requests as best you can for you receive revenue for each deployment. That's how you make the money in this. Okay? You do projects and you launch satellites. That's your only income. So you how you go about that and how you build your space station using these modules is completely up to you. If you want to build a space station that's got like 15 laboratory modules, you can do it. It's entirely up to you. Now, I've played this game a lot. I have a little bit of something in mind that I like to do for my space station. And I really try not to deviate too much from it. Right or wrong, it's what I've been doing, how I've been building the space station for a very long time. So when I get into the actual game, I'll explain those details and why I make those decisions and why I put this here and why I put that there. And unfortunately, when we switch over to the DOS version of it, I will explain why I have to do things differently sometimes. Um, why I need to um, where are we here? Why I have to do it this way. Unfortunately, like if I go in and look at all the same missions are they're exact same details. Okay. Um, there's no cheat in the DOS version that I know of. I haven't tried. I have no desire to try, to tell you the truth, because the game is so rich without that cheat. Um, and EV is the same, station is the same. I actually find the DOS version to be so much quicker, actually. I don't know if it's just because my emulator is running at a very high rate, but let me just flip back to the old Commodore 64 version. But it's pretty much exactly the same. Okay, so now where do we go from here? One last thing, okay? I've taken a lot of notes on this game. Let me just pull up the notes here. And when I played it in 1986, 85, 86, I did not know what the heck I was doing. I was just a kid. I didn't know what I was doing. It's only in the last couple months that I've actually taken so many detailed notes, okay? When I actually get into the game, like I have crew notes, okay? I have the number of projects these guys are on. I got them color coded, okay? Revenue. I've got like on projects, I've got it broken down on what day we're getting revenue. I've got the projects broken down, which ones I've seen to completion. Not very many, because I've only started doing this. So that's why this game is going to be long and ongoing. It's not going to be back to back to back episodes. Okay. So just to give you an idea of a lot of where I'm coming from on this game is one of my favorites, and I just hope to be able to share it as I play it. And yeah, hopefully we'll have a good time with it. If you're this far into it, I appreciate that. We're going to get into the game in episode number 2. Unfortunately, unfortunately for me, if you've never played the game, it's going to be awesome. But unfortunately, it's going to be in the DOS version. Okay. So, I mean, the graphics are just not there, but the mechanics of the game are there. So it's not like we're missing out on anything. All right. Just wanted to say my 2 cents, and let you know on a little bit of a project that's coming down the pipeline here at Gamer for Fun. All right, I've been Chad. This is Gamer for Fun, and you're about to enjoy Project Space Station. When it gets going, it gets frantic. Okay, this game is frantic. And you're going to see what I mean once we get launching. Okay? Take it easy. We'll see you again soon. Thanks.